Hey everyone, Christian here, and I want to do a little bit of review on this particular planting, which is going on close to my sister's house. This is going to be a Lucky's Market in Venice, and this has been going on for probably 6 to 9 months now. This used to be a Kmart back in the 2000s and 1990s, and I think Kmart closed down in 2007, 2008, and this was empty for about 10 years, and you can see on the outside of the picture to the left, there's the market kind of goes on. I mean, the Kmart went on. It was just a longer building, but they added on here that wood frame building there is something completely different that they just built there. So obviously, I didn't come here to film the construction of the buildings. I came to film the palms that were planted here, the royal palms. They're actually the only plants here. In fact, this entire strip mall, which goes all the way from basically Shamrock to Center Road, is planted with royals, and it's just paved parking lot. And it used to be kind of run down. There's not much here, especially with the Kmart on. And this is kind of looking much nicer. There's a bunch of royals that look really nice up here on the north side of the strip mall. But these here, when they first put them in, looked nice. They were, had nice green plumose leaflets, and a lot of them still do have that. But there's two problems going on here. One is you can see in many of these that probably in a bigger screen you can see it, but there's probably half of these palms are already all of their leaves have turned brown. Now that can happen with some transplant shock with some species, but with royals, they transplant pretty easily. So for them to shock like this is a sign that it's either done improperly or the root pruning was done improperly. I don't believe it's a water issue because we've been getting so much water lately, and royals love tons of water. So I think they were adequately watered, either from nature or from some sort of irrigation or hose that they're using. I think it's a transplant shock. It could have been done in transit. They could have all come on a semi, loaded up on each other. It happens quite a bit. You can tell that these are not high quality royals as far as the best ones in the field, because the crowns do not have a ventricose. The palms don't have a ventricose trunk, meaning that there's not any real bulge in the middle. If you look at it just kind of looks like it just tapers. Usually it'll kind of come outward and then come back in. So that's not happening, and the crowns are much paler in appearance. That could be from being grown in the shade. These royals are likely grown in the shade at some field-grown nursery, probably in the Homestead, Miami area. I noticed that a lot of those nurseries have a lot of leftover royals from 8-10 years ago when the economy was terrible, and they kind of just grew too big. They started shading each other out, and they'll sell them at like a very cheap discount price. Now the second problem is that these royals are still tied up, and there's no reason to tie up the crown of a royal. They should have been opened the day that they were planted, and especially this time of year, because you have to realize that you can see how wet it is here. It just rained. It's been raining every day. August, I believe, is the wettest month of the year here in Venice. I think we get something like 9 inches of rain, and as a result, all that water, which naturally should flow through the crown and down the crown shaft into the trunk, is now sitting in the crown of many of these and just going to cause more damage, the higher chance of rot, fungus, and eventual death. So there's a chance that the rain actually caused. I don't believe that that's the case. I believe it's more just transplant shock, because it just turned brown immediately, and these aren't you can see on the ones that are brown. I'm sure on a bigger screen you can see this. On my phone it's harder to see, but the ones that are brown you have a brownish crown shaft. Now that could be the case that the oldest leaf is just dying, and so it is brown because of that, and when it falls off it'll turn green. But with the mixture of it not being a high quality specimen, and with the rain and them not untying the leaflets from transport, I would imagine they're gonna have a 50% death rate. I mean, royals are pretty resilient. None of them may die, and I hope they don't. But there's likely a chance that a number of them will die, and up to half of them. Now, some of them look great still. I mean, they could go downhill. They've only been here for about 2 weeks, so there's still a lot of things that could happen. But To give you an idea, royals this size in this part of the state, they're going to run about $400 to $500 each, and then plus planting, which is probably double that. So you're talking about $1,000 a plant. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 15 plants, so that's $15,000 that may go down the drain. And in the big scheme of things, that's not expensive. This big facility is probably, the renovation is probably in the it's definitely in the millions. So 15,000 is a big deal, but a job is a job. If you're not going to if you can't transplant or plant or transplant royals, then again, you shouldn't be in the job. I have a feeling that this is the same company that did the downtown job that I filmed a few months ago, Venice's quote renovation project, which still looks terrible. I should do an update on that. A lot of palms with terrible looking crowns. I mean, I'm not mad at the palms. I'm mad at the people who decided that's a good idea to put those palms in, and that's a representation of Venice, which it's not. So, but on the good side, 15 years ago, you did not see royals planted out en masse like this in Venice. I believe there's just a lack of information as to just how hardy they were. And Venice is not, has become kind of a milder climate. It kind of drifted from like a high zone 9 to a low zone 10 over the past 15, 20 years. So royals do just fine here. I've never seen them burn, even in the coldest temperatures we've had. So that's not really an issue. I think it's just a matter of like, Venice is not, in smaller towns, you'll see less grandiose projects. But since Venice has kind of grown in size, it's basically doubled since I've lived here. You'll see more projects with higher end plantings, and specimen royals are considered, a higher end. I mean, they're regal looking. They have they're a structural plant. I think a lot of times, maybe this were in the 80s or 90s, I think that Canary Island dates would have been planted here, but they're kind of a downward trending palm because of the issues that they face here in Florida. So, Florida natives are always a plus, and I do hope that all these survive, but I've seen this multiple days now. Kind of just each day, it seems like another palm is having a browning issue, and as a result, I really have a concern about the long or even the short-term prospects of these palms. So anyway, I'm gonna get going before someone comes up to the car with a bulldozer and asks me what I'm doing. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and want to see more palm related reviews and other plant reviews, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification button. I do go live quite a bit. And if you have any questions about transplanting specimen palms, leave it down below and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And thanks for watching, everyone. Have a nice day.